everyone and welcome back to Squatron. It's been a long time since I posted a few videos, so I'm going to post something I'm creating a video on something really interesting right now. I've posted a video on sessions and cookies in PHP. Now we are going to build a login system with sessions. So if you close the page and log in after some time, like tomorrow, next week, next month, you'll still be logged in. And if you want to log out, you can do that also. So let's get started. First, I have a Sublime text. I have Sublime text open with a folder open called login with session. We are going to create a new file in it first called index.php. Next, we need to create a file called, this is going to be login.php. In index.php, we are going to have the login form, and login.php is going to be the handler for that form. First, I'm going to open a few markup, and I did that by using Emmet. If you want, you can install the plugin. It's for Sublime Text and VS Code. And document, let's give title login in PHP MySQLi. And I forgot to tell you that we'll be using databases to have a few users. We're not going to build a register system because it's going to take a lot of time. So if you want, you can build it out. It's just a login form with the with the submitted data. You can post it to the database. I have a course on inserting articles to table manually and by code. So now let's start by creating the table. I first need to have an ID. That will be an integer and value 11. It has to be auto increment, and make sure you have this primary key selected. Next, we need to have the user's username. Will be a word character 255, and then that can next be on the password, which will be a word character 255. This is just basic. We are not going to enter description for the user and all. So I'm going to hit save. Here's the user table. We have the credentials. Now let's go to browse. Okay. Now let's insert a user. My user. I'll just say Darsh Adak. My password I'll just put as 123456, and then I'm gonna hit go. Now if you hit browse, you should see our value here. So now we have the user created. We need to first we need to open the file in the browser, and it's in localhost squadron MySQLi, and then login with sessions. Okay, now let's add a title login in PHP MySQLi with session. Now let's create the form. Form action. Action is going to be the login.php, and then you are going to give the method as post, because we're checking whether that is there in the database. So whenever I had database usage with the form submission, I would like to use post, because you should be using get here. But it depends on the user preferences. From action login, first we need to have a label for username, input type text, name, username. We're not going to be styling this because it's again this is not a CSS tutorial, it's a PHP tutorial. And a BR, we're just going to copy this here, paste it in here, replace this username with password. I want to replace these three with password. Now let's test it out. Reload the page. We get it like this. Now we can't actually submit the form without a button. So input, submit. Value, we say login, name, login. Reload the page. We can increase the BR here. There. That looks good. Even though it's not styled out. Okay, now we'll enter the exact credential. We'll enter incorrect credentials. I'm going to put Squadron and a password of the correct password 1234566. Hit logged in, your login.php. Okay, now we can close that page. Now we need to open the PHP tags. After that, you need to we'll create an if statement. Is set $_post login. What this basically does is in the index.php where we created the form, we named a button with the login. So that means it's gonna check whether that was clicked and then only you're gonna allowed to stay on the page. Else they're going to be redirected out. Header, location. There's a shorter way of doing this. So instead of wrapping everything inside an if statement, you can just make it like this. Let's try. Copy this, and I have not logged in. I'm hitting enter. You're redirected to the login page. Good. Now we need to store the values. Username equal to $_post username. Copy that. Replace this with password. Now let's check whether the user exists in the database. I have a database connection file. To go out of here and say dbcon.php, we can just copy that. New file. Oops. Once I'll just pause the video and add the folder back. Here. Now all we need to do is create the new file called dbcon.php. Make the PHP tags and paste the content and close. Now we need to require that file. There, the file is required in we have the contents in the file in our login.php. Now let's say $SQL equal to select all from users. That's the table name in the database. Where this I don't think I've talked about it. Means you can enter a value where username equal to $username. So it'll check whether the username is equal to the any value in the database with the same username. And don't forget we need to even check for the password, the most important item. There. Now it's gonna store the result. It's just having the query string. It just didn't get executed. Result equal to $con query. I'm using object oriented SQL. And then if $res num_rows, that stands for if the result is bigger than 0, that means the user exists. but I like to do it this way. Or you can even do it like this. Is you know what? I'll do it like normally. If $rest numbers, if the user exists, else. Otherwise, we just want to tell the user through an error message that the user does not exist. So let's do that. Echo, echo, echo. User does not exist. Below the page, we get an error else. Trying to get num rows of non-object. Why is that happening? Let's query $SQL. Need to check for the DB connection. We are connecting to the database dummy. I forgot about that. The database is Quadron. That should work. There, user does not exist. Now, if you go back, enter the real credentials. Password is 123456. You still remain on the page, but nothing is there. That means the user exists and the correct credentials are correct. Now we'll redirect to a new page. Header, location, home.php. Now let's create that home.php and reload the page. We are in home.php right now. Let's create HTML markup. Welcome. You can't access the username. And one thing, actually, you're supposed to hash the password by storing it in the database, but we didn't. I didn't explain the topic in a video, so we are not going to touch hashing right. Welcome. So now we need to get back to login.php. And right here, you need to start this session. I explained what I'm about to do here. It's actually just a small explanation on session. We're going to be using sessions. So if you don't know what are them, please check that video out. Session start. Next, we're going to unset all session variables first. Let's do that in here because we are in that page right now. Unset all the session variables. Okay, now the sessions will be clear. Now all you need to do is right before you are being redirected, you need to create a new session called username equal to dollar username, and now it should, but we need to log in again. So I'm going back to the index.php, log in with Darshadak, and then the password is 123456. I log in. Now we need to stay in this page only if you're logged in. You won't be able to access this page if you're logged out. So that I'll do it in the head. Before we start the HTML tag sessions, we need to start the session first. And if $_session username, if not $session username, that means it doesn't exist. It means we need to be redirected straight to the login page. And we should not run any code that's below. So exit. Below the page, you're still in the page. But if you copy that URL, open an incognito window, redirected to the login page. Fine, now let's say welcome. Right here, let's say $use UN for short, username. $_session, username. You can say welcome $UN. If you reload the page, you don't get anything. Oops, I'm not echoing it out. There, welcome Darshada. You can say in a H1 also, you can just copy this. Welcome Darshada. Now let's create a logout link. Because if the user doesn't want to stay logged in, you need to create a logout. We'll just create a link called a href logout.php. Logout. See here, there you got the logout link. Now let's create a logout file. Logout logout.php. There. Now we just need to start the session here also. And then we don't want to stay on this page if we have not logged in. This code is to make sure whether because we don't want the user to come to this page if the user is not logged in. So all we can do is just session. We want to only unset one session, not unset the whole sessions thing. So if you just open session, I'll unset the value. If you hit logout, you still are on the page. We'll use the redirect, but we'll see whether we can access the home.php. We can't access the home.php means it successfully worked. And now all we need to do is just header. Actually now it will not work because since the session does not exist right now, it's going to execute the code inside here. But if you try and log out, now let's see whether this redirect works. I'm logging in. My password. But if we hit login, and if you don't enter any password, it works. So let's restrict that. We're not using PHP validation because it's going to take a lot more time and I don't like log videos. You can't log in the page without filling in these credentials. Luck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright. Log out. Get out. I hope you liked this video, and if you want more videos like this, please subscribe and like to my videos. If you like them, I really appreciate it. And so that's it for this video. I'm gonna be posting the next video on something really fun like this also. Bye.